What's up guys, welcome to this video. Today I'm gonna start my guitar series for beginners, and the difference between this series compared to other series for beginners is gonna be that I'm actually gonna introduce music theory from the very start. I'm gonna introduce it in bits and pieces, so don't get scared off. It's really not that complicated to get started. So I'm gonna break it down from the start, and I'm gonna introduce music theory early because it's gonna help you when you're learning shapes to actually know why the shape is the way it is. And it's also gonna help you when you learn songs, and a chord is slightly different. You can kind of figure out, okay, where does my finger placement go? And this was my struggle when I started, so I couldn't really remember all the shapes, so I always had to rewatch videos, and this slows down progress, and it's another hurdle you have to overcome, and it kind of complicates your life. So I would rather you learned music theory a little bit right from the start. So let's get started. To start, I'm gonna introduce you to the fretboard, and when we play the guitar, we number each fret. So this column here is gonna be fret 1. Here is gonna be fret 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. After the 12th fret, it repeats. So the pattern of the fretboard repeats. So, but this is going to be 13, 14, open to the end. However many frets you have is dependent on your guitar. So, so we have the fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you start playing the guitar, you're going to play what are called open chords. This will be explained in a separate video when it actually comes to play. But most of the time at the start is going to be spent within the first 3 or 4 frets. So now I'm going to introduce you to the names of the strings. So if you look at the guitar, we have 6 strings. Playing the guitar, we count from the bottom up. So that's going to be string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right? So I'm going to introduce you to the names of these strings. For now, just take it as information. You're going to understand more about this in a future video, future lessons. So, which is why you have to subscribe and like these videos, and set the notifications so that you know when the next video comes up. So the first string is called the E string. The second one is called the A string. It sounds like, the E string sounds like this. The A string is the 5th string. Fourth is the D string. Third, the G string. Second, the B string. The first is going to be the E string. This is just information, so you're going to have to memorize the name of these strings, but with time it's going to be automatic, and you're going to know, okay, that's the E string, the low E string, that's going to be the high E string. It's the same note, but this is a higher octave. Octave is a music term. I will explain in a future video as well. But essentially, it's higher pitched, or it has a higher frequency, so it sounds a bit brighter and thinner. And this is a bit lower, so you can hear the difference. So you need to just memorize that. There is a good way to memorize that, and that's Eddie 8 Dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. So E, Eddie, 8, A, Dynamite, D. Good by Eddie. Now I'd like to introduce you to the musical notes. So to start, we're going to talk about the natural notes. The natural notes in music are starting from C. It's going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and it repeats on the C. So when you're playing the guitar, you're going to be playing notes, kind of like when you play the piano, you're playing notes. And these natural notes are called natural notes because there is another type of set of notes called accidental notes. So I'm going to introduce the accidental notes a bit later, but for now, the natural notes are what I already said. And for example, like your open strings, like we practiced already, are all natural notes. So we have the E, A, B, G, B, E. and those are natural notes. So these are concepts you just have to know. Like you have to just know the natural notes go from C to C, like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You just kind of have to know that. There is no explanation for it. It's just how it is. And now I'm gonna go to the next concept, which is gonna be the accidental notes. Between some of the natural notes, there exist accidental notes. For example, between C and D, there is the C sharp or the D flat, depending on what direction you're going from. If you're going, and it depends really in the context of the song you're working on or in this of your composition. But for now, we're just gonna use the sharps, and we're just gonna say between C and D, there's a C sharp. Also D flat, you should know it's also D flat, but for our intents and purposes, we're just gonna say C sharp. Between D and E, there is the D sharp or the E flat. Between E and F, there is no accidental note. Between F and G, there's the F sharp / or G flat. Between G and A, there is the G sharp or A flat. And between A and B, there's the A sharp or B flat. And there is no accidental between B and C. Again, this is just how it is. You're just gonna have to learn it like this. There is no explanation for it. Like I don't know why it's set up that way. It's just how music theory works, and it's something you're gonna have to memorize. But you don't have to sit there and memorize it on day one. Just have these ideas at the back of your mind, and with time, it's gonna be automatic. You're gonna know exactly why everything is, like how everything is structured. The next concept I'm gonna talk about is the major scale. So if we just take a look at the top string, the sixth string, and we already said this is the E. If we play the next note, that's gonna be an F. Why is it an F? Because there is no accidental between E and F, right? So we have E, we have F, we have F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. A half step, which is going from here to here, that's called a half step. If you go 2 frets, that's going to be a whole step. So 1 fret is a half step. So E to F is a half step. F to G is a whole step. That's 2 frets. And the pattern for the major scale, for every major scale for every note, so we're going to talk about the E major scale right now, is going to be starting on that note, on that called the root note, E. Gonna go a whole step to F sharp. Gonna go another whole step to G sharp. Gonna go a half step to A. Gonna go a whole step to B. Go another whole step to C sharp. Go another whole step to D sharp. And a half step to end it back to E. And if you listen to that, it's gonna sound like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And that's essentially the major scale. Maybe you heard that at some point in school or something. So that's gonna be your major scale. This is very important when you start to play the guitar. So just know that pattern: whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And then it repeats the octave. Played on the A, we're gonna go a whole step to B, go another whole step, C sharp, go half step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, whole step to G sharp, half step to A. Guys, I'm gonna promise you, like, if you just spent your first 2 days trying to understand these concepts, you can watch other videos. You don't have to just watch this video. If you don't understand something, I didn't explain it well. I'm new to teaching guitar, So yeah, maybe I didn't explain something well, maybe I missed the spot. Feel free to comment that in the YouTube video. I'm going to respond to you for sure. But feel free to watch other videos on the introduction to music theory, like, you know, what we talked about, the natural notes, accidental notes, the major scale, the half step, whole step. Feel free to watch other videos. Apart from that, what we did was we just named, we went through what the fret is, like how the fretboard is structured, like fret 1 to 12, and then it repeats. We talked about the name of the strings, Eddie A Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie, and then we introduced half step, whole step, and the major scale. In the next video, we're gonna get into our first chords, and the difference compared to other videos is when I introduce these chords, I'm gonna tell you why these chords are what they are and why you place your fingers where you place them. And then we can work on some rhythm to kind of like introduce you to playing some music on the guitar. So the first video was to get you into the mindset of working with theory, get the fundamental concepts out of the way. If you get the fundamentals, guys, you can literally go so far, and you would, in 3 months, you would actually be talking about it like you've been doing this for like a year or 2 years. So that's the video, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe so you don't miss the next videos, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.